sight. Get what we need.
And this is this week's Classic Classic.
Nice new graphic, ladies and gentlemen. It is November 23rd. It is about 8 o'clock, and welcome to Sports Call Monday evening. Before we get to introductions, we have a couple other announcements. The Stradis are multiplying like crazy. Mr. Strada here is going to be a grandfather for this 37th time. So congratulations to the Stradi family.
My daughter.
Pretty soon they'll be all over the place. You won't be able to turn the
Taking
corner.
over Burlington.
Yeah, taking over.
Wow.
Also, we want to wish Mocha the dog well. Mocha the dog went in for surgery today and has come out, and she's wandering around the house going, so, Mocha, we're rooting for you. And as always, we are preceded by the Council of Aging. We want to thank everyone from there. I'm not sure if they were dancing or singing tonight, but it's always good to have them on board. And right after us is the Sexy Hypnotist. So, folks, Monday evening is your Monday evening for BCAT right here. And we have this is our Thanksgiving week show. And as always, we do focus on football and everything. So we'll start, as always, with Mr. Paul Stradi, voice of the Red Devils, with us. And then joining us as a special, incredible guest star is Ken Catelli, who's the Burlington football beat writer for the Daily Times Chronicle, which is not just in Burlington, but is in...
It's in Reading, Winchester, and Woburn as well.
Reading, Winchester, and Woburn. He covers the 4-state area. And also joining us to my near right, we have senior co-captain Shane O'Neill and Dan Murphy. I'm all worn out, guys. So anyways, welcome to the show, gentlemen, and Ken, you as well. And here it is, Thanksgiving week already. Does time fly or what?
I know.
So anyways, the last time we saw you guys, I think it was like the beginning of the season. I don't know if you had just played Bill Ricca or not.
Arlington.
You just
Yeah.
played Arlington? Yeah, is that when it was?
Yeah, we did it the Monday before the Stoneham game.
So it looked like things were actually going pretty well, I think, at the time for you guys. So, and then kind of the wheels, got a little wobbly. I think, was it the Melrose game?
It was the Melrose game, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how badly did you get yelled at after that game?
It wasn't as much yelling at us. He was just disappointed because he knew we should have beat them, and we just didn't come ready.
All right, so he didn't throw anything or break anything, and
No, not really, not that game.
I'm surprised. He's been mellowing. Yeah. Oh, which game was it then?
No, he didn't do it this year.
All right. So how you guys feeling about how the season wrapped up and everything?
The past 4 games haven't gone too well.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing because
Yeah.
we were 4-1 at one point and
Yeah.
controlling our own destiny, and then we just, I don't know what happened.
So
I know the losses. We had 4 losses in a row, but I thought that Winchester game was probably the poorest I've seen Burlington play in a long, long time. And
Yeah.
it just, I don't want to say quit. The team quit, but it looked like it in the fourth quarter. It was just, it's something I hadn't seen from Burlington football in a long, long time. That there wasn't any drive or any,
Yeah.
it was sour on the sideline.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was way different on the field. Just a different feeling game.
No
I
one
agree
was
with you.
into
No one
it.
was into it. It was just.
Yeah, I mean, Winchester, a decent team. They came into the game 7-2 for that game, but it just seemed like Burlington just kind of rolled over I had never seen a Burlington team roll over like that.
So what makes a difference? I mean, when you're in the locker room, does it feel different Does it, when you get onto the field, does it feel different? I mean, when does that emotion
I think
start?
it starts on Monday, like in
The Monday
practice.
before the game?
Yeah, in practice. Like if kids are into it and like not like goofing around and just like going hard, and they're like ready that game if we had to play the next day, then you know you're gonna be ready on Friday. But like you can tell when you walk in the locker room on Friday if we're gonna play well or not.
Because that's
Yeah.
what I heard about the Melrose game. I heard the Melrose game, the kids kind of took it lightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna go in there and kill them.
We're gonna kill them, man. They were on their third or fourth string quarterback, I think,
Yeah.
for that
And he
game.
ran all over us.
Yeah.
And they were
Yeah.
0-5 going into
0-5,
it.
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like we have a caller already. We have Randy calling in.
It brought a smile to the boy's face.
Yeah. Randy, are you there? Okay.
Just have a question for Dan. I'd like to ask him, when you score a touchdown, would you compare it to the feeling of putting the kid in the sandbox?
Putting the kid in the sandbox.
Um,
That's code for something, I'm assuming?
Nah.
I don't know what that
don't
means.
know.
Right. So anyway, thanks for that call, Randy. They're always glad to
Thanks,
have
Randy.
these kind of really invigorating kind of questions
All right.
to start the show with.
Can I add something about that Winchester game?
Is-
I've been
is-
covering football for Burlington for 10 years. I've never had to make a count of the number of sacks one team has. By the second half, Winchester had already sacked Burlington 4 times. So I had to start keeping a count. By the end of the game, they had 7 sacks. And one kid on Winchester had 4 of them. So you're talking about Winchester, 7 sacks.
So I
And
mean,
one kid had 4 of them.
There's one question I had to ask. What did you think when when they went to kick the point after, and it was a fake? I mean, they were up
33 to
33
nothing.
Yeah, they tried to say after the game that was a botched snap, but
No,
the
it
kickers
wasn't on
the
purpose.
kickers
It
just
was
started
right
throwing
to
it.
the
snap. I mean, he came right up.
They snapped it right to his chest, and he
Yeah.
immediately started to throw it.
The
He
coach
didn't-
is pretty classless, I think. It's my
Yeah.
personal opinion. I don't like him.
Because I know McGuire got pretty upset, and we were upset and kind of on the booth when they had that, because we had the replay, we saw the replay, and
Yeah.
it definitely wasn't a bad snap.
No.
The snap was right, like you said, right to his
Right
chest.
to his chest, and he
It was
immediately
it was
rolled up.
definitely a call play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then they onside kicked it after that too, the pooch kick where they
Yeah,
kicked.
the
Yeah.
pooch kick.
That was on purpose too. They tried to say that.
Yeah, I mean, like I was playing corner on that fake field goal, and that's my guy if he goes out in like the flat.
Right.
But I just stood there because I was just so surprised that they would do that up
Yeah.
33-0.
is that because of years and years worth of us destroying them? They
I don't know,
finally
even
just
if-
wanted to
Even
kill
if
us?
that's the case, like it's not like
I mean,
Coach
how many
McGuire
years
is
has that
like.
coach been there? From Winchester.
This is his 4th year. He used to coach at Pope John, Paul Sobolewski, through 2005. And then when John Donahue, the previous Winchester coach, I don't know if he quit or he got let go, and they fill in the vacancy, Sobolewski applied for it. And the AD at the time, I believe, was Tom Murray, and he hired Paul Sobolewski to be the new head coach
Yeah.
for the 2006
I just wondered if
season.
there was some type of bad blood there or something from, because I couldn't.
Well, he knew.
There is
He
that.
knew that they.
Winchester just didn't strike a chord that there was any type of. I could see maybe the Woburn, there was a little, the rivalry with Woburn or Reading or something like that, but Winchester didn't seem to.
Yeah, there's
there
never
wasn't
any bad blood between us during the games. Like, I mean, we beat them each time, but it wasn't like there weren't any like fights or like jarring at anybody. There were no like 15-yard penalties in
I
last
mean,
year's
there's no
game.
like
or anything.
trash talking or anything out there.
No.
I mean,
Last
they're
year's
just one of
game
those
was pretty
teams.
clean too.
yeah.
Yeah, I can understand.
Looks like
The
we
Judge
have,
Meister.
yeah, the judge is on the line.
we go.
Yes, Judge. Hello, Judge. Okay, we're off to a real rousing start here.
Oh
now.
yeah.
Yeah. So Judge is, we don't hear Judge, so we're not quite sure if Judge is even.
This one's for Danny Murphy.
Oh, hello,
Hello?
Judge?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. All right.
Danny Murph, where do you get pizza from before the game?
I usually get it from Louis Pizza in Woburn.
Can I please come next time?
Yeah, Jeff, you can come over.
We gotta pre-order the food though.
Yeah,
Another question, Danny,
yeah.
are you gonna eat your lunch tomorrow?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I love these football questions, but thanks, Mr. Judge, for calling in and asking. Again, I love to be stimulated like
pizza.
this.
No.
All right. I ordered the pizza tonight, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Supposed to deliver at 8:45.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. Perfect. Is it from the
House of
Blue
Pizza.
Herring? Or?
No, it was on the way, House of Pizza.
Oh, that's nice. All right.
Oh, by the way, talk about classless moves. The Reading coach, with 2 minutes left in the game, Reading's ahead 48-27. And Ryan Pollock, who's already rushed for 290 yards, is still in the game, and coach turns him loose for another 68-yard game.
Like, why?
With 2 minutes left, they're up 21.
Why would you do that?
Why would
At least he took a knee at the end. The Winchester.
Yeah, at least he
coach-
wouldn't go into
Winchester
the end
coach
zone. He
goes-
got to the
yeah.
10-yard line, he dropped.
Oh,
He could have
That
scored.
was good, but he wanted to get him over 300.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was already at 290 or 291, 292, something like that. I don't
Yeah.
think, if I were the coach, I wouldn't have done that. It's on his conscience, just like the Sobolewski at Winchester. And
Yeah.
Oh, Stephanie with an I in the middle.
Stephanie?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie?
One of your girls?
Oh,
Yeah.
This isn't
Oh.
Stephanie. This is Stephanie.
Hello.
You're listening to the television, aren't you? It's about a 4 or 5 second delay, which is
Hey,
really going to confuse you.
I was just letting you know that it's Stefan.
Stephen. All right, Stephen.
Oh,
I
And
see. There we
I
go.
got a
think it's an
question.
F.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, I don't even have a question.
Did you have an answer?
That wasn't me last call.
Who was it then?
This is the person, the real person,
Yeah.
and that was possibly one of the rudest things I've ever seen. I've ever heard.
About the lunch?
Yeah.
And Dan, I don't want your lunch.
What about the sandbox thing, Stephen?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The sandbox thing, I don't understand what that means.
Okay.
But Dan.
Yeah.
Why did you choose number 11? I heard it symbolizes something. It was on the math bathroom.
Well, whatever was written in the math bathroom is false, Jeff. I know the reason you're thinking of, and that's not it. I just chose it because I like that number.
This is another Jeff?
Yeah, this is the actual Jeff, the kid who wants my lunch tomorrow.
Okay.
He wants
Who
everyone
was
else's
the kid
lunch,
before
too.
that?
The kid before that was
Stephen Goches, number 5.
Oh,
he was-
Stephen Goches. I see.
But Jeff really wants my lunch. I know he's kidding.
He wants everybody's lunch.
All right. Jeff's that kind of guy, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
He's greedy.
We'll have to watch him
Him
then.
and
He
Roy
doesn't
Walsh.
have
Always
any
hungry,
respect for
Jim.
the senior class president and
No, none.
kid that tears his MCL.
Nope.
Needs to
Yes.
go
Show
down
him
a
a little
peg.
respect.
I have a feeling if this is how the rest of the show is going to go, we're in trouble
We seem
already.
to draw.
Right.
Wow.
All right. So anyway, so we're getting back Winchester. That was kind of nasty.
Yeah, Reading wasn't too much better.
Yeah. So it's really getting to the sense that, how can you get up for a game? It's Monday. Whatever happened last week, it's done. Here you are. You're trying to get a good practice in because you want to get pumped up for next Friday night. And you can tell right away then when that's not happening.
Yeah.
Oh, how? By the way the guys talk to each other,
It's
or the
just-
coaches?
we're
The
not-
way you go through drills and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Once we get together, and start practicing, we usually break up, receivers go with Coach Bailey, and, Coach McGuire takes the backs and quarterbacks, and then, Coach Duke takes a line, and then once we all come together and start running plays, you can tell if it's flat, if everyone's, not into it,
Yeah.
and then he gets mad, and then it's just...
How's Coach Burt been this year?
He's been
Good.
great.
Yeah, he's been awesome.
Is he?
Both the 2 long snappers, it was me and David Rocco. We both went down. He taught us how to do it, and then he showed another kid how to do it, and there's been no problems with the long snapping this year.
All
That
right.
was his major thing that he does.
So Coach Burt, his first
Oh,
year.
Adam Burt, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember him.
coaching, helping
man.
out in the high school team.
Yep.
We've been hearing a lot of stories from Coach Burt about what happens after the game down at that the Irish Rose. What's that Irish
Oh,
place in
in
Billerica?
Billerica?
The Emerald Rose.
The
Emerald Rose. Yeah, we've been hearing about those trips to the post game trips to the Emerald Rose, and sounds kind of interesting. But
Yes, we have.
yeah, so we know that.
Never invited me.
But I'm glad
Oh, well.
Coach Burt had a good initial season with the team. That's important.
I was just wondering, I wanted to ask, when you say that the team sometimes is a little flat on Monday, do personal problems come into play there? Or?
No, I just think it's
Usually not.
if we lose on Friday, it's kind of like everyone's still thinking about that game. It's kind of like I don't know what it is. Just some days you just.
I always
don't
think
feel
it's
into it.
like sometimes kids like either have school problems, they break up with their girlfriends, and their minds just
Yeah,
not.
but usually you can like block
It's
that
usually
stuff
not,
out and just
yeah.
focus on football. Usually the
All
kids,
right.
if that
Just
happens,
forget
they're
about
like,
everything
yeah,
when you get there. Just
Yeah,
focus on
alright.
football.
So you put personal problems aside.
yeah,
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 definitely.
you try to.
All right. So it's nothing to do with that.
What if your girlfriend is really good looking?
Then you get another really good looking one.
You get two of them.
Yeah.
All right.
Ah,
I
there
see.
you go.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, so for a season that's kind of 500, how do you get fired up for Thanksgiving Day? I mean,
Get another winning season. It's like big motivation right there. If you get one more win, we have a winning season. If not, we have a losing season. That's motivation in itself
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
'Cause
And
that's
I
what
think
okay.
getting a chance to hold that trophy has something to do with
Yeah.
it too.
Yeah,
Plus, you
actually, that
know-
was my next question. Just
Yeah.
kind of winning that game.
I think that
kinda-
trophy is
Yeah.
a pretty good incentive too.
We have to, we're coming close to taking our first break, but we're going to take our first break right now. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about Thanksgiving Day with these guys. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
There we go. All right.
Last play of the game, 6 seconds to go.
Hi, I'm Gerard Phelan here for my annual eye exam.
Flutie throws it. Fail in the end zone.
That was me when I caught Doug Flutie's famous Hail Mary pass.
He caught it. It's a miracle.
I'm still in the right place every year, and you should be too. Thanks, Dr. Frucci. See you next year. So visit your family doctor of optometry annually to enjoy the miracle of sight.
To learn more, go to www.massoptom.org.
Big dreams and good grades aren't enough to get into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Finding someone who can help is the first and most important. For the next steps, go to knowhowtogo.org.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arts-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch!
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
Okay, so welcome back, everyone. We just heard news there is some kind of benefit going on.
Yeah. It's called the Peter Breton fundraiser. Peter Breton was the old Burlington girls basketball coach. He was in place there when I first started covering Burlington boys and girls basketball. And he has a disease called Guillain something. I
Okay,
can't
some
even
horrible
pronounce it.
sounding
Yeah.
disease.
That is it potentially could be life-threatening, but he's learned to live with it now. And the benefits at the American Legion Hall here in Burlington, Saturday from 4 to 8 p.m.
Okay, this
and
Saturday,
I'll be
4
there
to 8.
right at 4 o'clock.
All right, be there Saturday, 4 to 8.
Tickets
Meet
are-
Ken.
Yep. Tickets
and-
can be purchased at the door for $35.
All right, and Ken will sign.
I'll
Bring a
sign
Daily
anything.
Times Chronicle with you. Ken
I
will
will.
sign. So it's worth the $35 for
There
that.
we go.
There we go. Fundraiser for Peter Breton. Our crack production staff is right on top of it.
Right on top.
Boy,
of it.
that's that's really impressive, and you
Always
know,
willing to help out anybody
that's great. Yeah.
that has a
Okay.
health problem.
Good. All right. So getting back to Thanksgiving Day. Now I would think, knowing that it's Thanksgiving and knowing that every ex-football player since the town of Burlington was incorporated in
If they're
1502.
If they're alive.
Yeah, if they're
1792.
still alive and walking, we'll be there to watch you guys. Isn't that kind of incentive?
Yeah, it's the biggest game we play all year, and just like last year, even though it was an away game, you still see all like the familiar faces, like when we were freshmen, and like watching them when we were in like middle school and stuff, and just like being 5-5, getting to 6-5, last home game, last game ever
huge.
for most of us.
Yeah.
So,
It would be good.
yeah.
So that means who's going to win the small division of Middlesex then?
Wakefield and Melrose.
Yeah,
They're
Melrose?
both 3-0 in small division. They're playing each other. So
Who
the
would've
winner of that
thought,
game
huh?
gets the small
I'll
division.
pick Wakefield on that one. Wakefield, I think, is the
Yeah,
Wakefield was another game similar to Melrose where Burlington, it was close. Burlington could have won, but
a lot of points.
Well, Burlington got 27 points in that game, so it wasn't the
33-27.
offense.
Should have
The
been enough
defense
to
had
win.
a little
Yeah.
letdown.
Yeah.
He gave up a touchdown with 14 seconds left on a pass.
Oh no!
so-
Oh, that's too bad.
So Kenny, you have some stats for Lexington? and-
Yeah. Lexington has a quarterback named Miles Adley, who's been there. This is at least his second, maybe third year.
25th year.
And he got 2 touchdown passes and also ran for 12 yards for a touchdown against Westford Academy in their first game. Threw a TD pass against Concord Carlisle, had a 6-yard touchdown run against Melrose, and then against Woburn, who's only 2-7, he was 8 of 11 passing for 116 yards and had 55 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. And then against Winchester was 6 of 9 passing for 105 yards, and against undefeated Reading, 9 of 11 passing for 153 yards plus 2 rushing touchdowns.
So in other words,
the kid is good.
Yeah, this is the guy to watch.
Yeah. If he does that against Reading and Winchester, he's
Now, how do
definitely.
you guys defend somebody like that? Do you put like a monster back or something, or a spy back on?
No, I mean, we're running like a basic defense, but they told like the defensive backs, like this kid will run like 25 yards back, and like he just like scrambles around. He keeps plays alive for like literally like 10, 15 seconds. So you just gotta like stay in your coverage, because if you don't, he's gonna run around the backfield and just throw it deep and put it over your head when you least expect it. So just a matter of like staying in your
They have
zone.
a couple of decent receivers too.
Yeah.
I was reading.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Lexington.
Lexington.
Yeah, that kid Matt Wenzel caught 2 touchdown passes against Westford Academy, and he caught 3 passes for 29 yards against Woburn. Those were his big games. He had several other games where he just had 1 or 2 catches, but he's definitely the one that that Burlington will need to keep an eye on. He's number 24, split end.
Oh.
So
the weather might
he's
be a
tall,
factor,
6'4". He's taller than Danny. And
Because the weather
Danny
might be a
goes
factor
6'2".
too. The weather, they're talking about possible rain.
Great.
So I don't know if who would that benefit going in? I mean, is he in more of a
close.
Lexington
Dry
more of a-
cleaners.
more of a
Maybe
passing?
us, because they have a scrambling quarterback. He might
Yeah.
slip in the backfield. Us, we just run straight most
Yeah,
of the
Greg
time.
pretty much takes a straight drop back. He's not like a scrambler, so
Yeah.
that probably benefits us more.
Oh. All right. Well, is it supposed to rain on Thursday? Do you get that?
Well, there's a chance of it's supposed to rain up to Thursday, and there's a chance of showers in the morning. So
No, here it's going to be dry
yeah.
on
Alright.
Thanksgiving morning. A little rain maybe tomorrow.
I heard part of cloudy, but you
Well,
guys
it's
hear about the
dry.
weather?
No.
It's not going to be real cold.
If somebody out there knows what the weather is on Thursday, if you want to call in and let us know.
Should be okay.
We're stuck right now.
Yeah, I think
No
the
monster storm.
low humidity, mild weathers, and no severe storms. So that'll probably be a disappointment.
Yeah,
All right.
And, let's see, just to give some credit to our co-captains here.
Uh-huh.
Dan Murphy, this year so far, 18 catches for a team-high 288 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Nice.
On defense, where he's cornerback, 35 tackles, 5th on the team. 2 interceptions, 1 returned 25 yards. On special teams, 12 kickoff returns for a team-high 329 yards, including a 75-yard touchdown run against Watertown.
Nice.
And 6 punt returns for 66 yards, including a 44-yard run.
Great. Before we move on, we have Bacardi Rum on the line. Yes, Mr. Rum. Hello, are you on the line? Bacardi? Yes,
cut him
thank
off.
you. All right, let's try to be a little bit more discriminating here on some of these calls. You
Bacardi
know,
decided
when
he
someone
wanted-
says it's Alfago Baca, you may want to think about that one for a second.
All right.
All
Can I
right.
throw some more stats?
So how about Shane? Yeah.
All right, for Shane, 43 carries, 306 rushing yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was on a pace to rush for about 1,400 yards before he got injured.
Yeah.
And on special teams, 4 kickoff returns for 80 yards, 3rd on the team. 3 punt returns, 2nd on the team for 43 yards, which was 2nd on the team. And you get the crutches will be gone within
6
a week.
days, yep.
6 days. That'll be Sunday. So you'll find next week, kids, you'll finally see him walking around with no crutches.
So 1,400 yards. Would that have challenged the Burlington High School record? Who holds the Burlington High School record?
I would assume Garrett,
Yeah,
but
it's a Garrett.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Garrett or Daigle.
Yeah, somebody had about 1,500.
About 15 is around the record.
Yeah, I was in.
Yeah, I wonder what
1990
Dago.
something.
I wonder what Jake's got. Because he was running since he was a freshman, I think.
Yeah. But,
So Jake, if you're back home and listening to Sports Cause, I know you would be, and you remember how many yards you ran for, give us
was
a call.
that Jake Daigle?
Jake Daigle.
Yeah, he was good. Him and Joe Reale were on the same
Yeah.
team. Before that, Matt McPherson.
Matty, yeah.
He was
And
real good.
there was, what's his name before that? Was it King?
And then it was Garrett Redfern. Who rushed for.
Wasn't Ben Reed pretty good?
Yeah.
Ben Reed was
He was a
all right.
quarterback though, right?
Yeah.
Ben Reed was the quarterback. Yeah. I still have Garrett's picture.
That's before my time. I just remember, I think King, wasn't there a guy named King before? Billy King, yeah. Yeah. I don't know who was before him, but that was certainly before my time. All right, so that's as far back into the history of Burlington football as we can go.
Yeah. That's.
Now you guys, Shane, you got, I'm sure we talked about this, and you guys doing other sports, or are you going to be picking up another sport? No?
Do rec basketball.
Yeah, that's about it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I do rec basketball and play baseball.
Yeah, all right. And one of these days we're actually going to have to get baseball on. I think we went through this before with you on, that we never can get you guys on.
Yeah.
It's the end of the year, it's too late.
Well, maybe before the season, since it's only like late March, early April.
Yeah.
Maybe before the war, that would
pre-season.
be kind of an interesting
Well,
idea.
get Jim
I
Curtin
know,
on
you
this.
know, that's why he gets
He'll
the
be good
big
for it.
bucks.
Jim Curtin will do it.
Jim Curtin.
Yeah, he'll do it.
All
He's
right.
a cool guy. Yeah.
Looks like we have Kyle on the line. Kyle, you there?
Yeah?
Well, hello, Kyle.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
Good.
Good. Did you have a question or something for Shane or Dan?
Shane.
Okay.
Katie.
What's your question?
Shane, you're the best. I hope someday I'm as good as you.
Thank you. I hope you are too, I guess.
Well, Kyle, that's really nice of you to say. Are you related to Shane at all?
No.
You just admire his abilities on the
Oh,
field?
we know. We're family friends.
Your family friends?
Yeah.
Oh, a neighbor?
Yeah.
And tell Shane he's a good football player.
Thank you.
Okay.
Role model.
Well, Kyle, thanks for calling in, and I'm sure one day you're going to be just as big and fast as he is.
And you won't get hurt.
And I started football.
What?
And you'll play football?
Yep.
Right, okay, good.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for calling in, Kyle. It's a pleasure to hear from you.
Okay.
All right, good night.
Sounds like my 6-year-old nephew wants to be a running back ever since he saw the tape of my show I did with Shane 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I told him, just don't tear your MCL.
Yeah,
Be a wide receiver like Danny.
That's no fun.
Less risky.
Yeah.
But if he wants to do it.
All right, so let's see, what else? Other local sports things going on at all?
Just a state cross-country meet that was held. Burlington in Division III the boys come up with 18 overall finish in that competition, led by Evan Mercier, who finished 24th. And the girls came in 23rd overall. Jackie Jenkins came in 50th as the top performer. So finish up their season. We're kind of in a transition period right now with fall sports wrapping up with the Thanksgiving game Thursday, and the winter sports starting in a couple weeks.
All right, we also want to give a heads up or a tip of the hat or a shout out, or depending on what generation. The cheerleaders, we understand, won their 6th state championship in a row.
Yeah, awesome.
So congratulations to the cheerleaders. We'd really like to get you guys on the show one of these days so you can tell us what's happening and bring a tape maybe of one of your performances. A state winning performance would be absolutely terrific. We'll see if we can make that happen, because that's one of the big success stories for Burlington, is the success of their cheerleading squads from
And if you
Pop
go back,
Warner on.
I think these guys, we're national champs too.
Yep.
3 or 4 years anyway. So.
We got awesome jackets for it.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Well,
Great.
when you're nationals. We understand, we're disappointed because we understand they are not going to be they're not going to be competing nationally this year, which is really too bad. So, but we do want to congratulate you for your success on the state level. And we also know if you went to nationals, you'd probably be bringing home another trophy, but then they'd have to build another trophy cabinet, and that's money we don't have in this town right now. So, but girls, congratulations. We'll hope to get you on the show and take a look at some of your performances. So maybe we'll be able to do that. And otherwise, in terms of local sports, there's not a whole lot to talk about.
I mean, we're kind of focusing in on the Thanksgiving game coming up on the rivalry. And we'll go back to that just for a second. I mean, the teams that played over the years, Kenny, they've been pretty close. You were telling just off here.
Yeah.
18, 17, and 1 in favor of Lexington. They broke that tie last year. So pretty evenly matched programs and teams over the years.
Interesting stat, the visiting team has won 21 games, whereas the home team's only won 14 and one tie.
All right, guys, I'm afraid we're going to have to interrupt this because we're almost at halftime. So we're going to take our halftime break. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about professional sports. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Good comments about the cheerleaders. The cheerleaders, are they cute?
Oh, hey, Mark. Hey, Mark. Hey.
Cool. Does it work? Kinda. Nice. Yeah, but that's not my cat. Gotta keep working on it.
See ya.
See ya. Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your own inventions or just play some games at inventnow.org.
Okay, girls, at 3 o'clock.
What is he looking at?
Oh, it's so obvious. Captain Obvious has scored again. Open your window, say something.
Oh, he's really gonna down.
Hi. Hi.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Gotta get that. Oh, it must be careful. Well, that's a nice picture.
Come on, Anna.
Okay.
Foreclosure doesn't affect just you. It affects your whole family, too. Call 1-888-995-HOPE for real help and guidance, because nothing is worse than doing nothing.
We are back for second half action, which means we start to focus a little bit more on professional sports. And gentlemen, please feel free to join in with any comments you may have to make. And Paul, that means we turn to you to kind of set the stage.
Kind of an interesting day yesterday, a little revenge factor for the New England Patriots yesterday, beating the Jets 31-14 in a game that pretty much had control up until the last couple of minutes of the first half where they had that punt back. Kind of turned the whole momentum around. They missed a field goal and kind of left a little window for the Jets. But they came back with, I mean, they had 4 interceptions in the game. The game was really a Welsh Welker. He had 15 catches for 192 yards. So an incredible performance by Wes Welker. I just think if he had played in those previous games that he had missed, you know, he's such a weapon that everybody talks about Randy Moss, but Welker is the guy underneath that opens it up for Moss.
Yeah.
And Moss did catch a touchdown pass, but the guy that was covering him did a very good job.
An excellent job. I thought he was all over
it.
Yeah,
he did.
Kind of shut him down, but Welker and even Maroney came in and actually picked up 77 yards. He had 2 touchdowns yesterday. And
he was running hard.
He did some dancing, but for the most part, he ran hard yesterday. And
fumbled again, though.
Ran into some people.
Yeah. So again, a good win, you know, and actually Belichick went for a 4th and 1 early on and made it in the first half, so it takes away all that nonsense from the week before.
Do we need to talk about that at all? Belichick's 4-2
It's been kind of beat to
Did
death.
you catch any Rex Ryan comments after the game?
No, I didn't.
No, because I didn't quite catch what he said.
We have Mendez on the line.
Yeah.
Oh, is this first name or last name?
It's a last name.
That's my nickname.
Okay.
All like my friends like Danny and Shane, they call me Mendez.
Mendez,
so, like, at home, formerly, my mom and dad call me Mike.
I see. So, all right. Well, Mr. Mendez, what's going on with you this evening?
First of all, congrats on the grandkid. Sheesh, that's like the 5th one.
That's true.
Second of all, I'd just like to say, Shane, do you remember we were walking down the hall today and like...
What?
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You got caught.
Okay, I
That's why
guess-
we have the 5-second delay.
Yes, now you understand what the delay is all about, people. So, but
Keep it
thanks
clean.
for the call, Mr. Mendez. Always a pleasure to hear from you. All right, so,
Sorry, so we were
good.
talking about the Rex Ryan comment.
yeah, what?
Yeah. I didn't quite catch the comment, but I think he was saying that it was definitely the worst game his team played this season, and that he was gracious enough to give the Patriots credit, but he thought his team definitely did not play up to
Sanchez was
the
terrible.
Oh, Sanchez was awful.
God,
Mark Sanchez.
4 interceptions, and he just wasn't on his
He's a
game.
good winner, but he's kind of a sore loser.
But it has a lot to do with the Pats' defense.
Yeah.
too. They
Yeah.
played them well.
Bawden picked
Bawden
him
had
off
3
times.
interceptions.
Yeah, four interceptions. Bawden had 3. And
Merriweather.
Merriweather had the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see our backfield really starting to get a little more confident in coverage and stuff.
Yeah, they're starting to play well, and again, that defensive line has been playing well. And the test is going to come this week. They're the big game this week coming up with New Orleans.
New Orleans.
10-0.
Monday night.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can make a statement against New Orleans that they didn't do against Indianapolis.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know what our collapse was all about when we played the Colts, but we had that game and then we just gave it back to them.
We were up 17 points or something. and it just
Yeah.
kind of faded
I think
away.
you wrote about that. Oh no, you wrote about the Denver game, the one that they were ahead the whole game and then they got
yeah.
caught in
I don't
the
remember,
closing minutes
yeah.
of the fourth quarter and lost in overtime. And that was the same day the Red Sox got beaten,
Oh, right, yeah.
eliminated by the
frustrating-
Angels.
That's right, yeah.
I was
Frustrating
at that
game.
game too.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I
But,
think
you
New
know.
Orleans gives them a little different challenge. But I think New Orleans, I think they can handle.
I do too.
really do. I really think Breeze is a top flight quarterback, and they're taking nothing away from him. But I just think the Pats are playing so much better now. They're really starting. And there's talk about. They had some injuries. The running back.
Sammy Morris.
Sammy
Yeah,
Morris.
he's number
Fred
34.
Taylor.
He's supposed to be coming back, so that would be a big plus. Maybe get a little break to Falk and Maroney. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, it's going to be. I believe it's is it the Sunday night game or Monday?
Monday night.
Yeah, and the Saints
Monday
almost
night
lost to
game.
the Rams 2 weeks ago. They won 27-23. So they beat them.
So
They're
anything's
vulnerable,
possible.
yeah.
I mean, and look at some of the upsets yesterday. I mean, Cincinnati.
Oh,
I
no.
mean, Oakland.
Oakland beat
Edson,
Cincinnati, Kansas City beat Pittsburgh.
So I mean, anything's possible. And I really think the Pats are playing well right now as a team.
Yeah, I actually heard, I think it was Peter King called the Oakland upset. He was being interviewed on EEI or something, and they said, well, what are you looking for this week? He says, well, my upset of the week is going to be Oakland over Cincinnati. And they're laughing at him and saying, you don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, it's very similar to that Melrose game. I mean, they come in there pretty cocky. I mean, Oakland obviously is, a pretty bad team, and they just took them for granted. Came in there and just handed them their heads, and it wasn't even close. So
Yeah. Well, I'm still upset that we lost the Super Bowl in our undefeated season, but almost as upset that we should have beat the Colts. That was our game.
We really should have. I mean, whether he should have kicked or not, I mean, you look at the replays, and it looks like he got a tough spot on that play because I thought he had made it when his foot came down. He was straddling the line, and he got a terrible spot, and the measurement was only off by a half a yard.
Yeah.
So, it changes the whole complex of the game. Whether he should or shouldn't have, you got to go with Belichick. There's 3 Super Bowl trophies up there right now.
Oh, believe something.
And just listen to some of the criticism and stuff. Shaughnessy and some of these guys. It was a joke.
Yeah.
They couldn't wait for him to screw up so they could write something negative.
Right. I think he made the absolute right decision.
I agree.
Given that Manning, they couldn't stop Manning. Manning had just gone down the field twice.
Yeah.
His defense couldn't stop him.
I mean, there was 2 minutes and something, so they would have probably ran out most of the clock.
Yeah.
All right. So Dale's on the line. Dale, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How you doing tonight, Dale?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm all right, thanks.
I just want to ask a question to Dan Murph.
Yeah.
How many Jacobs you do before the game?
I don't know what that is, Mark Brothers, but
Mark Brothers.
When I figure it out, I'll get back to you.
All right, always a pleasure. Where are they all at somebody's house
Yeah,
taking turns
yeah.
on the phone? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right, you call and call yourself La Bamba. Okay.
Wait till Pebbles and Bam Bam call.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great. That's just
No,
what we
they
need.
wouldn't.
All right.
Like the last time.
I'm expecting one from Rob.
Show
Yeah,
him.
Rob's dad.
Rob's dad.
Yeah, Rob's dad's gonna come in soon.
Yeah, so we're waiting for him.
Oh,
What-
yeah.
What's he going to call
May's
himself?
grandson.
He's gonna call himself Rob's dad.
Rob's dead. Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We'll watch out for it.
So, all right, so more about the Pats.
So the Pats, they got New Orleans coming up this Monday, and then after that they got Miami and Carolina. So it gets a little bit easier for them. So the big game is going to be Monday night against New Orleans. I mean, an undefeated team. They should have beat Indianapolis. I mean, there's no question about that in my mind. They just kind of let that game get away from them.
Not quite sure how that happened, but
well, I mean, you got to take your hat off to Manning. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks, of all time. And he came in there and they kind of opened the gate for him and I never liked a prevent defense.
No,
there's something about a prevent defense that the only thing you're preventing is I don't know.
Right.
I mean, they run this. They always score. Every time they go into prevent defense, they play soft up front. They don't put any pressure, and the guys got all day to pick you apart. And I've never bought into that prevent defense at all.
I think the key is you got to know when to use it.
Yeah.
As opposed to just using
Well, the
it.
personnel too, I think, would make a big issue, big deal too. If you only have 3 guys rushing, you got a guy like, you get some decent Will Falk and a couple other guys rushing. I mean, it makes a difference. But the prevent defense against Manning, they were giving him all the time in the world, and he just kind of, I don't care how good your secondary is, you give these guys enough time, they know where they're going. The secondary doesn't know where you're going.
Right.
And it just an advantage to Manning, and he proved it time and time again.
Yeah.
And then they got very conservative on offense.
Oh, I couldn't.
They really kind of went into a
They
shell
did,
trying to protect that lead. And again, it's easy to make criticism now and stuff. Okay, being a Monday morning quarterback, but
right. You can't play a football game like that. You got to play 60 minutes from start to finish, every single play.
And I just think they changed their game plan, and they really went very conservative, the Patriots, on their offense, and it opened up the door for Manning really to start that ball momentum going. They're home, which was a big plus too, so you have that crowd that's behind them. So, but you got to forget about it. You got to move on.
That won them home field advantage too in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. So and that's a big plus. So they got to just forget about it. They did, they turned it around, played very well yesterday against the Jets, did a very good job. Now they got to gear up for a very tough New Orleans team in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So we'll see what comes out of that.
Should be a good game.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah. So let's see, what else we have coming up?
Well, you got the Celtics. The Celtics have been kind of a hot and cold team. They started out like gangbusters, and they just barely got by the Knicks last night. They won in overtime. Garnett hit a 19-foot jumper. I'm sorry?
107, 105.
105 in overtime. Garnett with the winning shot there, and I don't know. It's going to be a lot of health issues with this team and how they play. They, back-to-back games, they're going to be hurt because of the age factor and some of these guys and the rest. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, as the year progresses with the Celtics. I mean, on paper, they look fantastic, but Rasheed Wallace hasn't hit. He's like 0 for 25 or something shooting on threes. I mean, he was like 0 for 10 last night. Didn't have a single point for the first time in a long time. He didn't score a point. He was throwing up bricks, so I mean that's going to hurt. But again, early part of the season, there's a lot of growing pains, and
as long as they're healthy in April.
Well, that's it. I think with Big Baby coming back, Big Baby comes back. That's another big body coming back for him. And he was playing well before he got hurt. So I think the Celtics, again, they kind of show their age, when they played Orlando. Orlando kind of took them to task in that game, and they just were ice cold for shooting. But the Celtics will do all right. It's just, like you said, as long as they're healthy come April, Kenny, I think that's going to be the difference.
Yeah.
So.
Good defensive teams are the teams that can beat the Celtics, like Orlando.
Yeah. And
Orlando has very good defense, as they proved the other night.
Rasheed's the type of guy, though, he'll go 0 for 25 one game at threes, and then the next game he's going to go 25 for 25.
Well, exactly. And one of the things they were interviewing Doc Rivers, and Doc Rivers was basically saying, just keep shooting. You can't go into a shell and afraid to take that shot. That shot is why we brought you on this team, that three-point shot. So keep taking it. Yeah, you're in the slump. And he said the same thing. He says, over the course of the year, he says you're going to get into situations where you're going to hit a slump like that. You're not going to be hitting 100%. So we'll see what happens.
All right. So moving on to your favorite Bruins.
The Bruins. The Bruins have been kind of I don't know, a helter-skelter type of team. They're 10-8-1 right now. They're in third place. They're a couple points out of first place behind Buffalo. They got Mishan Lucic. I can never pronounce his name. Lucic.
Yeah.
But he's coming back from a broken finger. But the funny thing I thought when they were interviewing was they told him he can't get in a fight until January because if he gets in a fight, he's going to damage that finger and he's going to be out. So they told him to stay away from the, because he's a physical player. He plays it tough, and but that's a big plus having him come back. He came back last game and he actually scored a goal. But Mark Savard is the other guy, and he's supposed to be coming back tonight against St. Louis. And Mark Savard is the playmaker out there, and you could see they really missed his presence on the power play. He was like the quarterback in that power play for him, and they really kind of miss him out there. So he's coming back tonight from a broken foot. So again, slow coming back, but again, once they get him back in the lineup and Lucius, they'll be all right.
All right. Well, listen, this may be a good time to take our final break for the evening, and then we'll come back, finish up with professional sports, talk a little bit more about the Thanksgiving Day game, and then we'll be good to go for another incredible episode here of Sports Call. So, folks, we're going to take a break right now. We'll be with you right after these very important messages. There we go. Good.
What is your problem, man?
You're welcome.
What the heck is wrong with you?
What do you mean?
Don't give me that. All right. What's going on here, fellas?
The missile was about to hit the school. I just acted as fast as I could.
That doesn't change the fact that I don't have a car anymore. Who just throws a person's car at a missile?
You're serious?
Yeah. Who's going to pay for my car?
I guess I could.
Do you even have a real job?
Yes.
Do you have insurance?
I saw the whole thing. Call me.
Recycling a glass bottle saves enough energy to run the TV you're watching for 1 full hour. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world.
They say every picture tells a story. Last year, 31,000 stories were left unfinished because of HIV/AIDS, and 160,000 were cut short by breast cancer. But this is about DVT, deep vein thrombosis, and its potentially fatal complication, pulmonary embolism, that ended 300,000 stories last year. More than AIDS and breast cancer combined. DVT is a blood clot, usually found in the leg, that can break loose and travel to the lungs, where it can be fatal. Some risk factors include obesity, recent surgery, restricted mobility, respiratory failure, and advanced age. There's one story I know by heart. It's about an NBC correspondent, a young husband and father named David Bloom, who died of DVT-related complications while covering the Iraq War. I'm Melanie Bloom, and I tell David's story so others will be able to write happier stories and reduce their risk. So please talk to your doctor about your risk of DVT and visit preventdvt.org.
This is the story about a group of kids who volunteered.
Do something nice for someone. We fixed stuff. Did some art projects with the kids. Cleaned up the park.
Did something for the planet.
And you know what? It was great.
At first, they didn't know each other.
Well, that didn't last long.
These are my new friends.
Are you into it?
Call 4-H or check out our website at areyouintoit.com.
Okay, fourth quarter action here in Sports Call, your Thanksgiving week Sports Call on November 23rd, and we just got a few more professional sports to cover, Paul.
The Red Sox, the big news out of the Red Sox camp is that ticket prices are going up $2 to $5 next year in selected seats.
Yeah, go prices!
So going up as they are. The big news is that what are the Red Sox going to do for left field? You got Matt Holliday out there and Jason Bay, and the word from some of the GMs is that the Angels are going to make a play for Jason Bay out there. He kind of fits there and what they're looking for. So Red Sox could be in for some competition. I know that they're looking to try. They think Matt Holliday is the better player.
I'd rather Holliday.
But Holliday's going to be probably twice the money than
that's true.
Jason Bay. You know, and they're going to try to break the bank with Holliday. And I don't know if he's really worth that, or if it's worth putting that much money and tying up your club like that. The interesting news that come out too is that they're looking at John Lackey, which was he was a pitcher for the Angels. The Sox make a play for Lackey and they sign Lackey. They say that they could make Buchholz available in a trade, They were looking at a couple of people, Andre Gonzalez, and he's the guy that plays first base for the San Diego Padres.
He's nasty.
He'd fit very well into this
Yeah.
lineup. I mean, he would be perfect. But they're looking for the sun, the moon, the stars out there because the new GM out there was the assistant GM with the Red Sox that just left.
Quinn's on the line.
All right, we got Quinn calling in. Quinn, are you there? Hello, Quinn.
I'm calling with the weather report.
Oh, good. What's the weather going to be, Quinn?
Well, for the game, it looks like some clear skies, and maybe a bit of wind around.
Yeah, get to the temperature. Let's go.
Around 55 degrees.
That's not too
And
bad.
I also
52.
have another question.
It's like 34 degrees
Okay.
Celsius.
I think so.
Yeah?
All right. Well, this one's for Shane. Are you going to be ready for the annual volleyball tournament?
Yeah, probably. It's in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be ready.
And Danny,
Yeah.
do you think there'll be any detriments to your team this year? I don't know, maybe in behavior or frustration?
I don't know. I mean, last year we were the most well-behaved team in the whole tournament. Like, we didn't get any 6 points taken away for swearing or anything. So I don't think that's going to be an issue this year because it never is, ever. So, yeah.
Okay.
Stefan Goch just couldn't keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
All right, well, is that Quinn? Have anything to do with Quinn? Or?
He was on the team that we got -6 against. We were
Yeah.
playing volleyball and there's some pretty bad calls. And it wasn't Stefan, it was me.
I see.
Yeah, I flipped out.
We got 6 points off for rudeness.
I see. So.
I yelled at the ref a few times.
Oh.
And that's really not good.
No, that's why we lost.
Yeah, it's a bad thing.
Did you really throw a nutty at him like you did with Sobolewski? No?
That's kind of
Just
why.
kind of more mundane freak.
Right, but that's why they want you back. Yeah. All right. Well, Shane, thanks for revealing that. I mean, I think that took real courage, and you're a manly man, and I appreciate that for that. And we need to thank Ken Catelli for the pizza. We did see a couple pies come in, and which we'll be enjoying after the show. So thank you, Ken, for that.
No, no problem.
And we should start with we should have the yearly Ken Catelli Pizza Contest.
That's right at the holidays.
Right, so whoever answers
Rob.
correctly will get a pizza from Ken.
Is it Ed's son?
Rob?
Hello?
Hello, Rob. How you doing?
Hey, am I live?
Yes.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
I have a question for the gentleman sitting in the middle.
What up?
I'd like to ask, where did you get that lovely shirt, and what do you put in your hair? It's so silky smooth.
You know. How
Who are you
did you
talking to?
know?
Who's he talking to?
I don't
Who's the guy
know.
in the
It's
middle?
either one of these guys.
I'm
guy
the
in
one
middle
with the
is Kenny.
silky smooth hair. Well, thanks for noticing. It's about time. I bring my silky smooth hair with me wherever I go.
It takes you hours to get ready, and it's about time you get some credit.
Really, at least, That's Grecian formula. You can pick it up at any drugstore anywhere you care to. But thank you. It's nice to be noticed. Maybe I should talk about pizza some more then. All right, so
just getting back with the Sox real quick. I mean,
Yeah,
they
all
have a number of questions that are going to be left at shortstop with Jeff Lowry with his wrist. The Yankees, again, are going to be major players. They're going probably after Roy Halladay for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Mm-hmm.
They get him, it's all over. They're
Yeah,
gonna win it again.
and they're talking about giving up maybe a Phil Hughes or a job at Chamberlain. But to get a guy like Halladay into that lineup that has an A.J. Burnett and C.C. Sabathia, that's a pretty decent pitching staff. So, and again, the Red Sox have got some questions with Mike Lowell. Is he going to be able to come back, and what type of year will he'll come back and play in third base? What type of range? So there's a lot of things. I think the Sox are going to be major players. I think they're just waiting, the whole free agency just starting. So I think it's going to be, as the players start falling in place here, it'll be interesting to see what the Sox do. They do have the talent in the minor leagues, to make some of these trades.
Mm-hmm.
But whether you want to deplete your farm system, play for now, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be a crapshoot.
Well, it was kind of disappointing last year. Of course, we didn't get Mark.
Teixeira.
Yeah.
That was a disappointment because it would have.
It really was because they thought they had him, and they really kind of lined. They were lining up the whole team around Teixeira, and then not to get him at the 12th hour with the Yankees, and then losing it to the Yankees.
Right.
Even hurt more. So I think they got played.
Yeah.
He said it wasn't about the money. He said he just wanted to go to New York.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a joke.
Pumbo. Is this Pumbo? Or is that Pumbo?
Hey, Shane.
What's up?
It's Hambo.
Hambo.
Hey, Lex to you.
What's up, Hambo?
Just wondering why you didn't answer my call today.
What?
Like, I wanted to hang out. Like, what the hell?
I was busy today, and you had
Like,
football.
I don't understand.
You had football practice today. How could you have hung out?
Yeah. No, you didn't. Like, I don't understand. Why didn't you call me?
Okay, this
like hanging out
lover's
with me, don't you?
quarrel. It is Hambo. See.
Like, what the hell?
So Hambo, how did you get your name?
Come on.
I think it's an abbreviation.
Yeah, how'd you
Abbreviation for Hamboski?
Bill Hambo.
Hamboyan.
Hamboyan.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Hamboyan. I
Yeah,
see.
right here.
Why don't they call you Ham? Why don't they just call you Ham?
That's not funny.
All right, well, we're going to say goodbye to Hambo, but always a
See you,
pleasure to
Bowie.
have you call in. And we'll see you next year on Sports Call. So. All right, so what else?
Well, other news, your son's alma mater dropping football
I
next
know,
year. Northeastern's
very
dropping out of the
sad.
football game, saying from an expense standpoint and just they weren't drawing any big crowds and they
really
used the money
weren't.
elsewhere. So it's kind of sad to see something. I mean, Northeastern's always had a football team, and
That happened at BU, right?
BU
Happened
about
at BU,
maybe
yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
So falling by the wayside.
I'm not sure how much will actually be missed. Because I don't think a lot of, like they say, a lot of people really weren't showing up for the games. I mean, the hockey games, they show up
sell
for
out.
in droves.
Yeah. Well, I think it hurts too not having the stadium right there on campus. Northeastern kind of spread out. And
Where do they play? They don't play on campus?
Well, they have the stadium, but it's not near campus.
It's
You got to
not
go
near
into
campus.
Brookline
Yeah,
somewhere.
right.
Yeah, it's a ways away.
So that always makes a difference. But again, you hate to see something like that go. And then last thing I have is Charlie Weiss, who was coach with the Patriots, in trouble at Notre Dame. They lost to
He reminds me of my friend Jeff.
They lost to what's that?
He reminds me of my friend Jeff.
Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff likes football as much as Charlie does.
Well, Charlie's in trouble because Notre Dame going down to Connecticut in double overtime this past week. So Charlie, I mean, Charlie could be unemployed come the end of the year. There's strong talk about him being gone.
Well, it's
10-year contract, so they're going to have to pay him for 5 years. So I don't think
Yeah.
Charlie's too worried about. I mean, there's the ego and the pride about getting fired, but I mean, he's still got 5 years left to go on that contract.
He even said he wouldn't mind if they fired him. Like he would understand.
Well, I
if they
saw that
fired him.
today. He
Yeah.
says if they'd be justified because they're probably going to end up 6 and 5.
Right.
And it's a shame, but it's funny how both coordinators, Cornell over at Cleveland, he gets fired, and he couldn't make it. Charlie Weiss at Notre Dame. You got Mangini over at Cleveland. That's probably going to get bounced at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So interesting how some of these assistants that are under Belichick just aren't making it right now.
Well, it's funny when you have, a lot of these assistants think they can be the head coach, and,
Exactly.
They're thinking, how hard could it be, you know?
And, a guy like Belichick doing it year after year, and they figured, it's a piece of cake. We just followed that same guideline, but it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
Josh McDaniels started out like a gangbuster.
Yeah. Whitey.
Hey, how you doing there, PJ?
Okay.
All right, well, we're saying goodbye to Whitey. Always a pleasure to hear from you, Whitey. And tell Dumpy, Sneezy, and Grumpy we don't need to hear from them either. So anyway,
get back to the Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I think.
so let's focus. Ken, what else can you tell us about the Thanksgiving game coming up?
Well, I think I've said most of it. Lexington leads the series 18 to 17 to 1. It's always usually a competitive game. The visiting team has won more in the past, but the home team has won the last 2. So hopefully that'll continue since Burlington's home this year.
Yeah.
The question I wanted to ask each of our captains before we end tonight is, What would it mean to each of you to win the game and get to hold that trophy after the game? We'll start with Dan, because you're the one that you get to play.
I mean, just like just being 5-5, and then just being 6-5 over 5-6 is a big deal, and then just like getting the trophy, my last game ever, being able to hold that up and going out on top makes a huge difference. Doesn't leave a bad taste in my mouth when I leave the field on Thursday.
Yeah.
So.
Excellent. And Shane, what would it mean to you?
Well, we don't want to be another team that's had a losing record. There's only been one in like the past 17 years.
Yeah.
You don't have 2 in a row. It's both years I've been on varsity, so.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have great significance to you, and since you aren't going to be able to play, it would definitely make it like Danny said, it would make it worthwhile. All the trials and tribulations that you and the team have gone through this year.
No, I know it's a young team, so I mean, just guys looking ahead to next year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent. I saw a lot of sophomores and a couple of freshmen here and there that get significant playing time.
Yeah.
How's that team look for next year?
Good. I mean, all this, like Shields is a huge part of our offense this year. We got Greg starting at quarterback, and then like the sophomores and the freshmen get a lot of reps at practice. So
guys,
they don't have a lot of juniors, but.
I'm afraid we're going to have to wait till next year to find out the answer to that question, because we are out of time. So for Paul Strati, Ken Catelli, Shane O'Neill, Dan Murphy, thank you guys for coming in. Ken, always a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for the pizza. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great Thanksgiving. See you at the game. Take care of yourselves.
All right.
Rob's dead.
They say her heart is cold, the devil's in her soul. I say that girl is alright. She look into your eyes, and man, you're paralyzed. I say that girl is alright.